Hello everyone! Blue Star Saber here with...
Sup, guys? It's me, Mangareader.
Yes, ever since the last time when My Hero Academia had an official chapter out, we have, let's see, Mangareader has been absent from the channel, but he's here back with me to join me to review Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles X Naruto Crossover, Issues 2 and 3 review. Unfortunately, Greg had been a bit behind on catching up on the issues, and also, let's see, I've just learned that in the UK, let's see, they're discontinuing doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Naruto issues for like the comic book series from going to the UK because apparently they're only officially allowed to be sold in the US, which is a bit of a bugger. So I only got like officially 2 issues of the whole series. I
It's
thought like
weird because I think it
what
says it concluded. I think it's like only four issues. Only
4 issues manga. There'll be 4 issues. There's currently, I believe, 3 is out, and the 4th one will come out at some point. But I still need to cover like issues 2 and 3.
right.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't even
yeah,
know it was only four.
yeah.
But
There's 4, but yeah, but I can only get let's see 2 due to I think some sort of agreement between America and Japan, which I will admit that news was just heartbreaking. I thought like something happened with the tariffs that have been going on right now, but politics aside, let's see. But yeah, I basically was covering this with retrospective Greg, but let's see. I figured let's see hello space and saying here we go again with Naruto TMT. Yeah, I was gonna do this with Greg, but he wasn't about, and I figured who do I know that might cover comic books or at least Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Naruto, and I figured there's one person that came to mind, and that would be you, Margarita.
you could have just made it funny and said it was Steve, and then I was the second option.
Yeah, Steve was my third choice.
Steve was the third choice.
Yes,
I mean,
and
he's more of a comic buff than I am, but yeah.
but yeah, lucky I would, but he does not seem to want to read this entire thing. But yeah,
Hmm.
anyway, last issue was basically let's see, Team 7 going on a mission. Let's see, hired by April O'Neil to return it back to a city where they encounter the Foot Clan, and later the sort of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You got like a bit of the fights of who fought who and who would be interacting with who, which the comic implied Naruto with Michelangelo and Donatello, Sako with Raphael, and Leonardo with Sasuke, and Kakashi with Master Splinter. And then let's see, Kakashi seemingly recognizing Splinter as Hamato Yoshi. So that's basically what's covering with this one. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. We're going to see issue 2. We're going to see whether or not, let's see how their interaction do and how Team 7 react to like whole Mutant Ninja Turtles things. But before we do that, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the cover A, which is Naruto QB mode, stage 1 QB mode with Donatello with his staff wearing like the sort of Kahuna leaf vest that he kind of has. And yep, they're going to with the merging of universe together out. Yep, basically. And I will admit, this cover sort of reminds me of the fact that everyone except Naruto gets to wear a leaf vest. If you might remember that little joke I always do. But yeah. But anyway, I do like the cover because you got like Naruto and Donatello side by side within the background and a little bit of their origins, like Donatello with the mutant in the sewers and Naruto with the Nine Tails being sealed inside him when he was a baby. So it's a nice little cover issue if I do say so myself. But yeah, anyway, on to the actual let's see issue, unless you want to do a brief comment on the covers.
Nah, covers really don't. I mean, they're always interesting, but they never actually play a part in the actual comic for some reason.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, it's only really Oda's covers that actually play a part in the story.
Seems like it.
So Naruto characters have been acting out of character, which is good. So okay, fair enough. That's a comment. That's spoilers. But anyway, this issue is written by Caleb Golina, artwork by Henry Prestia, colors by Raul Angelo, letters by Ed Duke-Sire, editor is Tia Chick, and design is Nathan Wick. So yeah, you've got basically publishing by IDW and Nickelodeon and Viz. Anyway, the issue begins with the Turtles and let's see the Genin of Team 7. Oh yeah, you meant for Chapter 1. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, Chapter 1 they seem for most part in character. And haven't even watched. Oh, haven't even read issues 2 and 3. Well, you're gonna get a bunch of spoilers then. So basically, you got the Turtles and Team 7 and Genin going like, wait, you guys know each other? There's Kakashi and just interacting with Kakashi talking about how the Hamata clan is revered for its dojo, and he once saw Hamato Yoshi fight when he was a young boy, thinking he's extremely skilled. But as he talked about how, but the last time he heard, he was gone and was betrayed by a rogue student, which shocks both Naruto and Leonardo. With Kakashi saying that he's also shorter than Yoshi, though he does, and though he doesn't really possess a Sharingan eye that would allow him to perfectly mimic his moves, but he recognizes that Splinter isn't actually Hamato Yoshi, but is able to, do the moves. So he ends up asking, okay, surely Yoshi didn't also have a tail, and why is he a rat and all that stuff? So Splinter comments about, his observation with or without the Sharingan, giving Kakashi some praise, if you will. And he also reveals that he isn't not Yoshi, but he was actually, Yoshi was his master, and he was his beloved pet rat. So instead of how the last issue was sort of implying that Hamato Yoshi would be and Splinter were the same character last issue, here it's actually revealed, nope, actually they're going with the original origin of Splinter being a pet rat to like Hamato Yoshi rather than Hamato Yoshi being Splinter, because, depending on which origin story you go, Splinter's either a rat originally or Hamato Yoshi before becoming Splinter.
It's true.
Really depends on which version you like. Personally, I prefer the Hamato Yoshi being Splinter one because I feel like that makes a bit more sense, but I don't know. Everyone has their preference.
This is I think what? Yeah, I mean, every iteration of the Teenage Mutant Turtles kind of just picks and chooses what they want.
Yep. Let's see. So yeah, I've read I've only got, of course, I've only really watched a few of those iterations, or let's see. But yeah. Anyway, Sakura goes on about how April's research Stockman's mutant ooze. Saying our fight was really just a misunderstanding. With Naruto says, "Wait, that means you're yep." As the Turtles introduce themselves in the classic sort of title with the name, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. With Splinter introducing himself and his sons Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Raphael. With Kakashi introducing his students as, Sakura, Sasuke, and Naruto, with Naruto going, yo. Kakashi apologizes about what happened about Ushi and says that he was a powerful fighter. And you got the sort of a little bit of a handshake where it goes like, you have my thanks, but says life moves forward. And at this point, they start walking together out of the forest. So, So, telling that they need to head off. But with Sasuke asking for this mission anyway, I can't forgive those who would betray their clan. Sort of showing Sasuke's sort of sympathy for those who betray his clan, given what happened at this time in the story of what he thinks about Itachi. With Splinter saying, your drive is clear, young Sasuke. Now, Donatello, if you would, with Donatello activating the hidden passage to their secret base. With him going like it's more really of a lair. Let's see. With Raphael going, if we were semantics were jutsu, Donnie, you'd be unstoppable. Sort of making fun of Donatello's technicalities, if you will. But I believe what's this? I believe the Fox mutant from last issue. I'm trying to recall what her name is. Fox Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I believe it's Olopex. Yeah, I think it's Olopex. Yeah, I think that's the one. Oh, sorry. So yeah, she is watching when they're going inside their base, saying that Splinter will tell them to explain everything here. Turtle's asking how April's journey was, Let's see her going say nice and boring for a change until like the turtles showed up. With her explaining that you're welcome for shooting your huge ninja sparring, as she's excited about that. With then you get a little bit of banter with Raphael and Sakura saying, "You didn't try to break it up, to break it up. Cherry Blossom over here was ready to pulverize my shell like she did that boulder." With Sakura taking it as a compliment. You got Donatello and Michelangelo going like, let's see, Michelangelo admiring Naruto's shadow clones, but Leonardo, of course, correcting him, saying it's doppelganger, as he goes like doppelgamer, but he's going like it's doppelganger, Mikey. Let's see, as also then complimenting Naruto's moves. With Naruto just talking about how he's just glad he didn't punch Michelangelo's head off in the last issue, if you will. Let's see, with Leonardo talking about how it's only better that we can get stronger by facing strong opponents. With just Sasuke in the background, being the sort of less social of the like members of like Team 7 and the Turtles, as you would expect. Anyway, Donatello activates like a password which Kakashi thought was some hidden technique. Let's see, with Sakura confused why they're smiling as a trapdoor opens and they all fall down. Naruto is commenting it's awesome as everyone slides down. And finally they came out of like a sewer pipe, if you will, with like Naruto going like, what in an entryway? And then he's also amazed by the lair as we see like the whole Fritzy the Turtles foot base with him being like, it's a cool secret base, and with Raphael, Zitzi is offering to follow the tour. You see Naruto partying and gaming with like Michelangelo, Kakashi having tea with Splinter, Sasuke and Leonardo meditating. Let's see, Donatello showing Naruto his gizmos to make a coffee cup, and you got Sakura and Raphael sort of practicing punching bags in the gym, if you will. And then Naruto skateboarding with Michelangelo again, with April O'Neil recording the whole thing, which I will admit I am loving these sort of interactions so far. With Naruto trying to use Michelangelo's words of radical, and him going like, with Michelangelo thinking that I'm glad you like it, but he thinks that your place is way nicer though, as Naruto's just enjoying the tour. But Naruto reveals that he didn't exactly have the best childhood, not growing up alone. Seeing like that image of like him being surrounded by like angry villagers, but then talks about how lucky he's been through because despite all the trouble he's caused his teachers and friends, but he managed to get stronger as he starts to bond with them. As you see, Naruto with Sasuke and Sakura and Kakashi in the background, along with Shikamaru, Ino, Hinata, and Kiba, showing some of the members of the K11 at least existing, which probably is the only time we're going to see them in this comic, if you ask me. Oh well, it's a nice little cameo he got there. And him saying that one day he's going to try and make sure he becomes Hokage and helps them to protect the village. With Splinter then learning from Kakashi that Naruto is a Jinchuriki, which would not have been heard anywhere until in part 1. So this is arguably, the only time when you hear it in this sort of like comic with a part 1 Naruto. With Kakashi revealing that the 4th Hokage sealed the 9-tailed demon fox inside Naruto when he was just a baby to save the Hidden Leaf village from devastating rampage, which he's keeping out the fact that, well, Naruto is Minato's son, but yeah. So I guess it's like one spoiler away, I guess, so yeah. Revealing how Naruto is an orphan forced to bear the village's fear and rejection, but this has only motivated him to earn their respect and love. He knows he's a Jinchuriki, but he does not know who has sealed the fox in him, saying he'll trust you, keep the secret for his protection. And it seems that, I may have spoke too soon, and it seems like he's implying that who Minato is to Naruto. With Splinter going like, I'm honored. It's clear my sons sense their kinship. As teachers, we must help them temper their inherited powers with their noble dreams. So you got that part there. with Sasuke and the Turtles interacting with him, saying he doesn't get it. Talk about how you're a powerful united clan. Back on the road, you made those foot ninjas look like punching bags, and their fox leader ran away like a coward. Kakashi's trying to calm Sasuke down before he crosses the line, but then starts asking what's really keeping you underground, with Splinter saying, not what, but who? Let's see, revealing the name of Oroku Saki, or as we all know better him as, the Shredder. As he goes on to explain that he was the troubled boy that was weird in the Big Apple Village criminals underworld, he came to the dojo of his master, Hamato Yoshi, claiming to seek a new path. And his master had known hardship, so he tried to help the promising young martial artist. So basically, he's been trained by Hamato Yoshi. So I'm not sure if this is like I know some versions have like let's see, I guess Shredder part of Hamato's clan before betraying him. It seems they're doing at least that part of the origin story at the very least. But he goes on as time went on. So let's see, Shredder's cruelty was clear. He sought only power to see the means of power. Let's see, his master's teachings to train power, and let's see, and eventually he stole the power that he needed from like his master's scroll, and which he ended up killing, I believe, his master before leaving the dojo and fleeing to form like the Foot Clan, if you will. So you see Splinter barely escaped from the carnage, and his old life, gone. He took refuge in the sewers. There he wandered until he met like a broken ooze thing, and then of course the baby turtles all covered in it. He then decided to help the turtles, deciding to raise him as their father, showing just quite the smart rat he had become. And then they started transformed into the Mutant, and then eventually they became like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he began, of course, being their teacher. Let's see. And they eventually, of course, went to seek answers above in the surface. And at that point, they ended up fighting the Foot Clan, and eventually meeting their leader, saying that he is now the one who rules the Big Apple Village underworld. And of course, the man who turned the life to shreds, if you will. So, Sakura then ends up finishing off by saying, so Sasaki's brought the city underfoot from the shadows, and using the power he stole from his master, and even betraying him despite the fact he was treated like family. And then revealed that and then confirming that, okay, the mutant ooze transformed you lot into ninja with the power to fight back, thinking it's like fate. With Naruto listening in, you again get the Nine Tails coming into comment saying you're the same in your case, with him saying he's the ooze, which is a bit of a weird comparison, but I guess it's the best you could do. And then April O'Neil goes on about how, as a reporter, she didn't really know about fate, but saying the stories definitely comes together when I met the Turtles. Revealing her own sort of origin, if you will. Revealing that nobody wanted to run a story about, let's see, disgraced scientist. Let's see, Stockman, but he kept reaching out. Eventually, Stockman said that he told him about his ooze, and it wasn't really fair to go at all. And he said he lost the intel batch years ago, but could finally produce more without like the university's funding. And he even wanted him to take a copy of his notes. But let's see, Baxter Stockman's ego got the better of him, so he was desperate for acknowledgement. He wanted fame and all that stuff. But as a result, he drew the attention of the Foot Clan, and he ended up getting funding for them. And eventually, they betrayed him as he thought he was smart enough to take the money and run. But in the end, he just got stomped by the Foot Clan. And well, the Foot Clan took everything. I don't know if they killed him or not, but April might have been next, but he ended up being saved by the Ninja Turtles, who, so they found out that he was the creator, but the Foot Clan took all the answers, and they eventually, of course, befriended April. And it talks about how they found each other, and at this point, after more research, she decided to go for the hidden leaf to try and get some more answers about the ooze, as well as getting, ninja medical experts, which of course leads back to let's see, Naruto, before it could continue, Naruto's stomach rumbles with Sakura going like, Naruto, you're kidding me, but he's goes like, I didn't do anything. Showing a sort of like, tsundere moment without sort of like hitting, if you will, but yeah. But basically, I think in this issue, you've basically got April O'Neil's origins with Baxter Stockman and the reporter sort of mixed together. Because, in the original, April O'Neil was Stockman's assistant, but with like the cartoon, they made her a news reporter. So it's sort of a mix of two origins there, if you will. But let's see, it's actually revealed to be April O'Neil's stomach that was growling. With Leonardo proposing that they do a food retrieval mission, and with Splinter saying, "Yeah, I'm sure our guests would like that." With Michelangelo saying, "You guys think what I'm thinking?" With the turtles shouting, "Pizza!" With Naruto going like, "What's pizza?" With Michelangelo going like, "Bro, prepare to have your mind blow." As April says, "We'll hold down the fort until you get back." As April and Splinter are now chatting with each other. Let's see, I'm thinking they've had a nice quiet time, but then they hear a noise with Splinter saying, but let's see, saying that they have to wait as they've got invited guests as the Foot Clan starts attacking them. April ends up fighting them off a bit herself along with Splinter, and they do quite well, but eventually Splinter, arrives after. Shredder arrives after going on about how. Let's see, yeah, I would invade your home, as they realize who it is, as they're surrounded by more Foot Clan, the Fox Mutant, and of course Shredder, ending issue 2. So, Mangareader, what are your thoughts on issue 2 of TMNT Mutant Ninja Turtles X Naruto crossover?
Well, for one, it's always my favorite thing with crossover series where they kind of, what's the best way to put it? Kind of like what Space said. That in my opinion, it does seem like the Naruto characters are more out of character than usual. But I mean, it's a crossover, so kind of not gonna keep the same level of consistency from series they're from. But it is kind of funny to have something that's from often portrayed in New York City somehow combined into a. I mean, I guess the Naruto universe did have technology too, but
I know. I always felt Naruto technology was rather vague, and then it had a very big booster jump with Boruto.
right. I mean, they had like walkie-talkie intercom things, but I don't know. I mean, it's kind of fun, I guess. So it's not terrible. I think the one that gets hurt the most in this, in terms of out of characterness, seems to be Naruto, in my opinion. But
You mean he doesn't seem to be the most active character in this crossover?
not that. It just seems like a lot of his personality kind of jumbles between what his actual personality was.
So you think he's been a bit more mellowed out instead of being the hyperactive knucklehead he is in this point in the story?
I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It just feels a little off for him.
Let's see. Space says here, so far it does feel like one of those Naruto fillers that takes place in part 1. With Space saying, I guess it makes sense. Naruto's part 1's personality would be hard to do. That is kind of true. I mean, granted, I do think they do a good job with his interactions with, Michelangelo, because, well, Michelangelo is probably the closest turtle to at least Naruto, at least in terms of personality in part 1. With, the sort of goofy knucklehead, if you will.
Yeah. I don't necessarily know what the. I mean, you already reviewed issue 1, so. But, I mean, I don't necessarily coincide what Donatello and Naruto have in common, but.
I feel like since the fact that they had Kakashi face Splinter, they had like an extra turtle, so they put him in there with
It makes
Michelangelo.
well, yeah, that makes sense because there's only 4 in Team 7
Yeah, I
compared
mean,
to technically 5 in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
yeah. I think if perhaps Shikamaru was added along in this crossover, he probably would have interacted with him, just because they're both geniuses, if you will. Or maybe had Donatello interact with Sakura, but instead they had Sakura act with Raphael, which, to be fair, I am enjoying the fact that those two are interacting.
It is interesting, albeit again in terms of Naruto's personality, he's got Michelangelo obviously, but I think he actually coincides with Raphael pretty well too. So it is kind of weird that they would go for Sakura and Raffy.
Yeah, let's see. Of Space Going. So it's interesting that they're doing a mix of old and new origins for the versions of TMNT. That is true. I'll get to that in a minute. But I think the reason they did that is because I think they wanted, in these issues at least, for Sakura to be a bit, in this crossover, for Sakura to be a bit more of an action heroine, if you will, because I think we know Mangareader in part one, Sakura didn't get really that many fights out of like all of like the main cast. To be honest, she got the least, of course.
I suppose so.
So they've given her a bit more of a let's see, fighter, a bit more of a more fighter personality. But yeah, I do like how you've got like let's see, Raphael commenting on Sakura's strength, and then the two of them fighting together. I mean, training together a bit. So I like the interaction you got between those two at there at least.
The elephant in the crossover room, obviously, being that even though, I mean, yeah, you got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with kind of converging,
Mhm.
um, like origin stories. You got also the Naruto group that kind of has a bunch of interesting, like in this case, Sakura didn't really get her Tsunade training till after Sasuke was gone.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, there was that one filler between that was set. Let's see, with like this sort of race thing with like when you encounter
Right.
this Cloud Ninja, where she had a bit of a moment where she lifted off a bit of strength, but outside of that, no, it wasn't until after Sonade did she actually get let's see to get proper training to be an actual fighter.
I'm
But yeah,
kind of curious to see because I mean we don't really see how many Tome Sasuke has in his Sharingan.
but to be fair, I don't think he's really activated his Sharingan yet.
That's true. I
But yeah,
mean, I thought he did in issue 1, but maybe he didn't.
I know I need to reread that issue, but yeah. But I do think the reason why let's see they put let's see, but yeah, I think the writers realized okay, we probably need to have Sakura be a action heroine for this. We can't really have her on the sidelines, so hence the Raphael and then the Naruto and Donatello. Let's
Right.
see interactions with along with Michelangelo. But yeah, him going like I mean Sasuke's angry, but it's out in the open. It's more cold. But yeah, let's see. Sasuke is a bit cold, but I do like how he's comparing his situation with the turtles with like the sort of Hamato Yoshi being betrayed by a member of his own clan. I do like that, and I do like how that sort of gets him to sympathize with like the turtles and like Splinter at the very least, even if he's a bit
Well,
blunt
he's
about it.
probably the one most closest to his actual personality.
Yeah, arguably so. Let's see, but yeah, I do like that they're doing that. See that comparison. The only other, I said this last stream when I was interacting with Greg, but I'd say the one US comic superhero I'd probably want Sasuke interacting with would probably be Batman, just because they are very similar but very different outlooks on how to respond to that.
Oh, if only we had the other type of discussion, but that is funny. But
I think I know which crossover you're referring to, but yeah,
I know.
um,
I know which one I'm referring to, but that would be more of a James one for me. So
yeah. Let's see. Encantran says TNT next mutation, and then goes like Venus, D, Milo, or Jenica. Are
it's
you
like
talk?
everyone cross.
I think he's talking about the two different female turtles. The one
Venice,
from that live action show and that comic, right?
I think so. Yeah, Venice was from the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
I'm almost positive.
Are you talking about the next mutation? Let's see. Ooh, we've got Space saying, we know that this takes place after Sasuke gets his curse mark because of Orochimaru reference.
Well, we
And
knew that,
he
but
goes like, Heavy Sasuke would be the most Batman similar due to his codes of not killing. Yeah, arguably Batman and Sasuke maybe get along there, but afterwards, Sasuke versus Frank Castle, aka the Punisher. That would also be an interesting, correctly, crossover, I guess, with EK trying to feel like you did a Naruto Marvel one. But yeah. But anyway, so let's see. As Space talked about here, mix of old and new origins. How do you feel of the blend of the origins they did? I will admit, when I first learned that they did the Cho trick of, oh wait, this is not Hamato Yoshi, but I do like how they ended up doing sort of like the origins of the turtles being a mix of, let's see, the standard comic ones, but with also like more of some of the more modern day with like the ninja training and all that stuff, as well as like I said earlier, the mix of April and Niels and Baxter Storkman origin with her news reporting one. I know.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, again, I first grew up on the 2003 Turtles. I guess you could argue it was an anime more than a cartoon, but regardless, it was on the CW, so that was done by 4Kids. So, um, so that one used what I believe was, like you said, the original origin where uh, Splinter was Hamato Yoshi's pet more so than Hamato Yoshi, and
Yeah.
then you had the 2012 cartoon on Nickelodeon that did the reverse, which was Splinter was Hamato Yoshi, who was transformed into the Splinter.
Yeah. Let's see. As far as I'm aware, the 80s cartoon and the 2012 cartoon did the Hamato Yoshi one. No, but yeah. But the 2003 one did, of course, like the
The
comic
origin, or
comic.
yeah, the comic or the
I've,
original comic origin. I don't know. Yeah, I believe that's how it was.
yeah. Let's see. TMT Fast Forward. Oh yeah, that was like, let's see, the controversial season of the 2003 cartoon. But yeah.
Turtles
Anyway,
Forever was a pretty good movie, though.
okay, fair enough. Let's see, Shredder's 2003 is an
Oh,
alien.
the
Yes,
alien.
he
That, well,
was.
that was the difference. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, this question here. By the way, what is Shredder's design in this? Well, I think he has a few different designs from what we can tell. If it's like the let's see, when he was like a student of Hamato Yoshi, he had a standard purple ninja robe, but with the Foot Clan's thing. Then he had sort of like, I guess, the full-on Foot Clan vest, if you will. And then eventually, when he becomes the actual Shredder, if you let's see, leader of the Foot Clan, he's got what is the standard, of course, samurai sort of ninja shredding armor, but he does not have the iconic helmet, if you will.
At
He does
least
not have
not
the.
in this issue, anyway.
Let's see. At least not on this issue, but he probably. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the helmet down the line. But yeah,
Wasn't there a cover in it? I mean, maybe it's the next. I
let's
thought
see.
one of the covers has him with it, but
Oh,
one of the alternate covers, anyway.
let me just take a look.
I think they got like 6 alternate covers for everything.
Let's see. They've got cover A. They've got cover B, which is like the Turtles and Team Seven, sort of like teaming up against the Foot Clan. Let's see. Cover C. The Turtles jumping with Naruto's, let's see, head in the background. Then cover but D is pretty much Ichiraku Ramen. Cover R1, which is just Naruto charging forth with the Turtles into battle against the Foot Clan. Cover, let's see another IR cover, which Naruto, where Team Seven and the Turtles jumping off a roof. Another one where you've got like, I believe Donatello with Kakashi, and then another one with Naruto using what looks like a Rasengan with like the Turtles and Team Seven in the background. But yeah, those are basically all the ones that you got there. Let's see, with E-Tray saying Space Demon / Tenga Shredder. Okay. And then Space says, they better give Shredder a roar. I need him to be cool. Well, I'm pretty certain they will because, well, this is the Shredder we're talking about. This is the Turtles' most iconic arch nemesis. With
Although he was killed off or pretty quickly in the original comic run.
yeah, and then I think they realized like because it was only going to be a one-shot cover story. I didn't think okay that would be it, but they're like, oh crud, this thing is actually popular. We need to make more issues. And EK Train says pop culture ninjas, not historical ninjas. Yes, this is like Naruto and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are not what you would say standard ninjas. They're just arguably, let's see, popular fictional, media versions that, both America and Japan has created. So you basically got the most iconic Western comic ninja group with the most iconic Japan manga comic group, if you will. So yeah. Anyway, anything else you want to cover with this one issue? Because basically, it's the Turtles meeting Team 7, learning about who they are, and then learning about each other's respective origins. Like Turtles, Team 7 learning that the Turtles are like, mutated from the ooze to become ninjas, and that they're trained by a rat who was part of a ninja clan that was who was the pet of a ninja clan that was betrayed by, of course, the Shredder. With Splinter learning that Naruto is the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, though keeping a bit vague about the fourth Hokage being his father and all that. So yeah, stuff that you would not really see. I don't know. Anything else you want to comment on? Let's see.
I mean, not really much else happened in this. I mean, it seems pretty. I mean, part of the course seems like they always capture April and Splinter when things go awry.
Yeah, when it's standard. The Turtles and Team 7 go away to get some pizza, which I do want to see Naruto eat pizza. I'm very curious and see the Turtles eat ramen. I will say that.
I feel like that'll be like a final issue type thing.
Yeah, that'll be the last part of the issue, probably. But yeah, the last part of the page of the final issue. While they're gone out, the Switzy ninjas and fed, and they get kidnapped. But yeah, by the Switzy Shredder and all that stuff. But yeah, but I do like Michelangelo going like, "You're gonna get mind blown," and I do like how Naruto's trying to do radical, like the words of Michelangelo. But yeah, this one comment about space here is saying, but TNT is arguably takes more from real ninjas than Naruto. Arguably, yes, as Naruto became a bit more fantasy and a bit DBZ towards the end, I would say. But yeah. Other than that, sorry, what?
I said nice. That's all I said.
Yeah. Other than that, I'd probably just say Kurama is continuing to be a bit more talkative and to Naruto than he would normally do in like the original series. But yeah, overall, I think it was a good issue. I'd probably give this maybe a 7 to 7.5 out of 10. And so it's just basically them learning their origin stories and them hanging out with their respective Turtles, were like Naruto playing games and skateboarding with Michelangelo, being amazed by Donatello's devices. Sakura and Raphael spar, training. Sasuke and Leonardo meditating, and Kakashi and Splinter having tea in the origin. So yeah, it's nothing like too major. It's just like the sort of calm before the storm issue. But yeah,
I mean, given that there's only 4 issues, I don't know. Slice of Life might have been a waste of a crossover, but whatever.
Yeah. Arguably, yes. Maybe we could have had like another issue or two, but yeah. And probably this is the only issue.
4. I mean, you most issues usually do like 5 or 6. Surprised it's only 4, but
yeah, who knows? Though again, it might be. I do wonder if the issues might be slightly longer than normal, but I could be wrong just because of all the adverts you got in here. But
well, let's see. There's supposedly 34 pages, but 24 of them are like actual pages, or even less than that, really.
Yeah, arguably more pages than you get in like a single manga chapter, but the standard you get for a comic.
Right.
But yeah. Let's see. Anyway, let's see. Saying like space. So the calm before the storm. Yeah. Let's see. But anyway, Mangareader, how would you give this score for this first issue?
I I don't know. What did you like? I know what you gave for this one, but what did you ultimately give for the first one?
I think I gave it like a 7.5 to 8 out of 10.
Yeah, because I mean, well, I feel like this one's a slight step back from whatever the first issue was. Because I did end up reading that once you sent me
Okay.
the link. I mean, again, it's just a slice of life. I mean, is it? I don't know if anyone reading this really needed to know the origin of everything, even though I know story wise the Naruto and them probably need to know the origin. But uh I don't know. I mean, it's fun, so that's kind of mitigates the kind of unnecessariness of it. So I think your 7.5 is probably the right idea long haul. I
Yeah.
mean, it gets like I said, I'm stuttering. The deduction for me obviously just comes from the fact that again, 4 issue crossover, we're wasting time on silly origin story things. But again, from a fun standpoint, it is kind of interesting to see two series that on the surface don't seem compatible actually be compatible.
Yes. Space is saying from the summary I hear 6 out of 10. So yeah, probably going to get 6 to 7 out of 10. Let's see scores for this issue. If like you're being more positive, but yeah. Space says also it seems like we won't be having Shredder team up with any Naruto villains, which is a bit of a shame, but oh well. That does seem a bit like a shame, given the fact that when you had like the Turtles crossing over with Batman, you had Shredder team up with Ra's al Ghul and turning all the Batman villains into mutants. But yeah, who
That
knows?
series did so well they ended up doing a sequel to it.
I think this is like a total of 3.
No, they did another one after that. That would make sense.
Yeah, so they got like a trilogy of that. So yeah.
Oh man, if this were canon to that, Naruto can meet Batman.
That would be true, and then we got to see those Batman and Sasuke interactions.
And then
But
if
yeah,
we do that, then DC is connected to not connected based on how the story started to the Sonic universe.
oh yeah, who knows? Maybe if you want, we can review that issue another day.
Yeah, it's up to. I mean, if we could ever figure out what the hell James is up to, he comes on, he'll say stuff, and then he'll just disappear.
Possibly, yeah. But anyway,
Is he active in the Discord chat still?
he's occasionally comments on it, but yeah. Anyway, Space says it didn't even need to be a big Naruto villain. It could have just been a small villain like Carpenter. Arguably, you could have had Carpenter as maybe a support for like Shredder to like doing the deal business, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, arguably this issue, for the most part, let's see, just a bit of a quiet issue, maybe the most fillerish, but anyway, issue 3 should and let's see, do a much better job of moving the story along, as we're now finally on issue 3. But before that, I'm just going to comment on like the first original cover, which is let's see, you got Sasuke holding like let's see, sword in one hand, but eating a pizza in another, and Sakura sitting down enjoying her pizza, while you got Leonardo just eating his pizza, smiling, sitting on top of a pizza stack, and Michelangelo seemingly trying to do a Sasuke impression of like eating his pizza seriously. So yeah, a little fun little cover there with like two of the turtles and Sakura and Sasuke. Which I will admit is kind of interesting to see Sasuke eating a pizza.
Hmm. He's
Which
holding Leonardo's katana. That's what it
yeah,
is.
but yeah, he's also admiring the sword. So yeah. Anyway, a comment from Safe say with Space saying you could argue they're playing too safe. Arguably, yes, but let's see. Let's see if they are going to be a bit more, let's see, different in this issue. So yeah, I've already see the writers and artists are like still the same from last time, so I'm not going to comment again on that. Anyway, the issue begins with like let's see, Team Seven with like the turtles. Let's see, just admiring the view of big. Let's see, Apple Village is amazing as you see like the New York State. You see Statue of Liberty with the the ninja headband, if you will, which is actually kind of cool to see, actually.
Yeah.
Let's admire it now before the French take it back. Sorry, bad joke aside.
You
Let's
dick.
see with Leonardo going like, "You've seen the heights," and then Donatello going like, "You've seen the lights," but see, then you get Michelangelo rapping saying, "Now it's time to see the sights." With let's see, Raphael going like, "Leave the rapping to the pros, Mikey." As let's see, Mikey's about saying, "I thought we were doing a ninja rap," but you got Sakura just laughing and giggling in the background. With Raphael telling the Linen Leaf Ninja to follow us, saying to remember to say that thing that he taught you, as they all jump down saying, "Cowabunga!" Though granted, I'm pretty certain Sasuke and maybe Kakashi are not saying it. At the very least, I know Naruto's probably saying it. Maybe Sakura, I don't know. It doesn't look like she's opening her mouth, but either way, you got them all jumping down with that iconic sort of like catchphrase you got from the 80s cartoon. With Sasuke asking about, let's see, about this dinner, with Raphael says, "Heh, straight to the point," saying he loves this guy, which arguably could argue, why isn't Raphael interacting with Sasuke? Because there's also some similarities there, but oh well, they're doing those interactions at least.
Yeah, I mean, they all have. I guess amongst all of them, Donatello still doesn't hold any real
Yeah,
relevance to Naruto, but whatever.
Donatello would be probably closest to Sakura, really, but yeah. Anyway, if one of the turtles telling him not to worry, let's see, they won't keep April waiting too long, as Kakashi says that they appreciate the detour, saying these views were impressive. And Naruto goes like, "This is like a second night sky." Let's see, with the turtle saying, "Well, this place is beautiful at the distance. There is a rot at the core," as you see members of the Foot Clan harassing a bunch of civilians. Let's see, down at the bottom, where you get the turtles telling the Team 7 to wait a sec, with Naruto feels like they're lazy, not helping. Let's see, but they see how easily the turtles kick the butt to the Foot Clan, with Sasuke saying, "I guess they don't need to get involved," with Kakashi thinking that, yeah, they've got this under control. Let's see, with the turtles telling them to come, let's see, with them. Anyway, they eventually enter like the pizza restaurant, and Naruto's wondering, "I hope this pizza costs the same as ramen, as I want to treat our hosts," seemingly implying he wants them to get ramen back at Ichiraku's maybe one day. But Naruto's just loving the smell of the place, with Sakura comments that, well, it smells good as well. Anyway, as the village skyline looks, but Leonardo just takes the pizza from the pizza guy. With Sasuke just surprised how they gave him all that food just for fighting crime. With him just saying, with Raphael being, in fairness, they usually just have it delivered through the storm drain. With them let's see, Leonardo opening one of the sewers saying, "Sorry, we gotta take the low road home. Too much attention from our adoring public." But Naruto's just he doesn't mind because he enjoys like the secret lair, if you will. Anyway, we cut to like the Foot Clan's castle or headquarters, if you will, a building in the sky, if you will, a building far up in the skyscrapers. With Shredder just comments about how the Big Apple's village's most irritating rat and report in the flesh, as he's commending his mutant fox Elplex, but also sort of bad mouthing her, thinking that it's a bit weak, but thinks that at least there seems to be some worth in like finding Stockman's scroll, and that not really much of a demon, but she managed to have. She's not a complete waste, but Splinter goes like, "You rule by fear and power stolen from others. And how dare you insult an innocent to get an innocent child involved in this, thinking he's a disgrace?" But he tells him not to interrupt not interrupt him. But you got like April O'Neil talking about how you can't get rid of us because, well, you've kidnapped us for a reason. Is it to help decipher Scotland's scroll or the turtles here, which isn't done yet? But Splinter, being Shredder, as he's now actually wearing the iconic mask, if you will, saying, stalling speechcraft worthy of a sensationalist. Going like, it's true that I am using you as the turtle's bait as for Stockman's scroll. As April realizes, like, the last copy of the ooze research, what are you? As he slices it, let's see, revealing that it's not actually, let's see, details, but actually like an ooze outside of it. With April realizing that, oh wait, he hid the final vial of ooze in the scroll, thinking that she's doomed Big Apple Village by bringing it back here, with Splinter of Shredder going like, sorry. Saying like, you think yourself too important, reporter? Saying that Stockman was nothing more than a bug, and you're Mew. Saying you never wanted to fulfill this ooze, you fool. Thinking that would be chaos. He just merely wanted to test its true efficiency, its true power, and then saying one finey recipient, so implying that he's going to use it for himself, but he's going to do a bit of a test first. So, but yeah. And he doesn't really want more mutants, if you will. I think with the way the dialogue's implying, Stockman is probably dead. At least they sort of assume. But anyway, we cut back to like the lair of the turtles, where Michelangelo's carrying a pizza, saying, "Hope everyone's ready for it," but realizes that April and Splinter have been basically kidnapped, and for Etsy realizes the Foot Clan has finally found them. Naruto sort of blames themselves for like getting them being out of their home and stuff, but Leonardo he says no, that's not the case. Sasuke was correct that eventually they one way or another, we couldn't hide from like the Foot Clan forever. But if Raphael then continues saying there's no way they can hide from us. As you're back at this sort of Foot Clan castle with Shredder bringing like his, it appears to be foremost elite forces, if you will, and the loyalty, and decides that he has like one final test with them, and tells them that consider yourselves honored, as he's like, you stand before me worthy of ascension. You even passed every trial, and this is like their final test, as he's pouring ooze on each one of them. So I got the bit of the reading wrong. I've got that little comic manga mix up, but yeah, as you start to see like the members of the Foot Clan mutating, of them going like this one growing sort of like red mutation spikes out of him, and he tells them to feel their destiny. With Oplex going like, "Is this what it means to be a mutant, to be a monster?" With Splinter goes like, "Absolutely not, young Oplex," as he tries to convince her that there's much that we do not get to decide in life, but their mutations gave us some choice in deciding our futures. You've seen my family's decision. What will yours be now? As he's sort of giving Oplex a chance to go for a better path. With Shredder tells his enforcers to rise and to fill his first command, saying to cleanse the Foot Clan castle clean of this vermin. With he seemingly telling them to both kill Oplex and as well as Splinter and April, but she's going like, what? No, you can't. I did everything you asked, so it seems like Shredder is betraying her. Let's see. But and you hear crash of Raphael shouting Saki with Shredder going like, the brats have arrived sooner than expected, as you see sort of like the silhouette of like the turtles arriving in the background. With Naruto saying they've come for April and Splinter, with Shredder, as you see the Turtles and Team 7 arrive ready for action. Splinter says, "You freaks and your puny foreign friends presume too much," telling them to prepare before the Foot Clan's newly mutated might, as you've got like 3 separate members of the Foot Clan being mutated in like red spikiness, blue spikiness, yellow, and purple. Sort of like the colors of the Turtles, as Shredder says the mutant enforcers telling them to show no mercy as they begin to fight. You got like Sakura and Raphael teaming up against the red one, with Sakura being like, "So this is what happens to humans that are exposed to mutant." saying how Lady Tsunade was right to be worried. But Raphael says, I guess it only makes them uglier. Let's see. You get, let's see, the red one trying to attack, let's see, Raphael, as he's a lot faster, as Raphael comments. Nearly about to be hit, but Sakura manages to save Raphael by grabbing his sash and pulling him away, apologizing for the awkward saves, but he says, "Are you kidding me? I'll take it over becoming like turtle soup any day." And then her going like, "Listen, I've got an idea, and I know you've got the arm for it." So she tells him, "Let's see, let me guess. You want me to throw you?" Wait, hold on, I've got them mixed up. Raphael says he has an idea. Sakura realizes like, "You want me to throw you?" See, as he says, launch. It's like, all right, what's it? I'll aim for his vitals. As you got like Sakura shouting out, "Cherry Blossom Shell Smash," doing a sort of ninja move, if you will, by throwing Raphael. And he, with his shell, hits the red mutant ninja Foot Clan, knocking him out as they celebrate their win. With Sakura just being like a strong arm saying, "I got him," and Raphael saying, "I love being a turtle." You've got now Kakashi and, let's see, Leonardo teaming up, fighting against the yellow one for some reason, or the orange one, if you will. As he's just throwing his like arms like these spiky blades at them, unable to as they can only really defend against it. As Kakashi talks about how it's definitely strong, but we both know that blade work takes brains. And thinks that the mutating thing didn't boost their intelligence. With Leonardo saying, "Wish the same could be said for durability," so the two start thinking of a plan, asking him to ready to use that wild isle of yours to counterattack. But Kakashi says there's no need, as he was thinking of something flashier, telling him asking Leonardo to buy him a second, which he so I'll make it 2, as he ends up fighting him as Kakashi's preparing his sort of Chidori or lightning blade, activating his Sharingan, if you will, telling Leonardo to follow his lead, as he does, and they end up striking him with a combined form of lightning katana with Kakashi's Chidori powering Leonardo's sword, taking out, I think slashing and killing the yellow mutant ninja, if you will. As Kakashi and Leonardo do a sort of fist bump, talking about from one masked ninja to another, that was really flashy. And now you've got, strangely, Donatello with Sasuke teaming up against, the blue mutant ninja that's got claws that reminds me of Wolverine's to some extent. With Donatello going this one would honestly be kind of cute if it wasn't so stabby. Sasuke saying, "Speak for yourself." So it's now activating a Sharingan, saying, "I'll handle this. My Sharingan can predict its every move." With Donatello saying, "A powerful genetic gift, but I can do the same thing with my, brain." So this is arguably the reason why they're teaming up for this bit, I guess. With them talking about knowing what it will do is one thing, but when an opponent's this durable, with him thinking, "Great minds, Sasuke. I think I've calculated a solo finishing move," telling him to follow him. As saying, "Are you picking up the same weak spot as me?" As he says, "Back off the head, one hit should do it." As they do a sort of combo kick of Sharingan staff, knocking out the sort of a sort of blue mutant ninja, unconscious on the floor. With Donatello saying, "You were right, Sasuke. It was definitely not cute." And then you've got, of course, Naruto fighting the purple one, who seems a lot like a mutated Shredder, if you will, I'd be honest, with a bunch of extra limbs, like maybe wings, I think. With Naruto says, "I can't land a hit." They're saying, I'm not sure if he wants to he's Doe, as it seems like kicking him is pretty pointless, with Michelangelo just seemingly agreeing with him, like, "Doe, right?" And then realizes with something with Doe, with Naruto asking, "You've got an idea?" Thinking about pizza, of course, places deal with Doe with a spin and pound. With Naruto then realizing, "Oh, I see where this is going. I've just got the combo in mind." As let's see, Michelangelo says, let's take it for a spin. And Naruto goes like, and pound it back into shape. As, let's see, Michelangelo fights the purple one. And Naruto getting ready in a sort of like fox-like posing for a beatdown. As the two work to do a Uzumaki Michelangelo barrage, doing a sort of like the barrage kicking and let's see nunchuck slashing from different directions, beating like the purple one as I'm not sure if he was cut in half, but he goes like let's see, Team Seven and now Kakashi are now surrounding let's see, and the turtles surrounding him saying, "Face it, Saki, you've lost." But he goes like, "You know nothing of lost, mutant." As he drinks the remaining bits of ooze, but says, "You soon learn." As he's saying, "After I drink to my ultimate victory," as he starts to mutate into, I guess you could say, Ultimate Shredder or Mutant Shredder or let's see, Monster Shredder or whatever one you like to let's see say. As he starts mutating, more spikes coming out, and look, his face turning more to skull as he goes like, "Yes," shocking like those in front of him, saying, "This is this is true power, my true power." As he got like a sort of mutant eye coming out of him as he goes like, "The power of Shredder," as you got this green aura surrounding him and covering the turtles. As the next, as the title says, to be concluded, ending the issue. So, with that said, Mangareader, what are your thoughts on this issue?
Should have known Super Shredder was going to be in the
Yeah.
fold.
Yep, Super Shredder. Team 7 and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Super Shredder.
I wonder how they're going to wrap all this up in one issue.
My guess is most part it's going to be a very long fight with like a little close to an epilogue towards the end.
Better be, but we'll see. Yeah, this was definitely better. I mean, it's far more use of both franchises.
Arguably, yes. Mostly this one is for most part an action issue, but I do like how you've got like the turtles just exploring the city with like Team 7 a bit. I do like how you got to see that for a little bit. Like the
Right.
turtles showing them around the city and showing them both the good and the bad of the city. While nice looking and seemingly peaceful, but it's got like a dark underground with the Foot Clan bullying everyone and having fun with the pizzas. And I do like how Naruto seems to like the smell of pizza. So yeah, which does make me believe that they're going to have that pizza meal at the end. So that is good.
Probably, I would think.
I do like how you also got like the Shredder just interacting with April O'Neil and Splinter at the beginning with like Splinter let's say accusing Sasaki of being a monster and causing harm and let's see have Space here saying Super Shredder, hell yeah. That's it. He's excited for that. Let's see, and Space
There's
saying,
your farming. Yeah.
let's see. Oh, and he's saying, so something I was thinking about hearing your summary. Did they play too safe by choosing to do part one for this crosser instead of Shippuden? I'll say for arguably in some ways yes, but I feel like the reason they chose part one is because they wanted all the members of Team 7, the original ones, to interact with the Turtles. And if it was like if it was Shippuden or part two, you probably wouldn't really have that because, well, Sasuke for the majority of part two is basically a rogue ninja and not a part of Team 7. As a result, you probably would have had like the turtles interacting with like Team Yamato and maybe Kakashi.
I think it's more just because of the power creep in Naruto.
Also, there's probably the power creep. I mean, as far as I can tell, there's only like one cartoon of the turtles that could match the power creep, and it's like was it Rise of the Teenage Mutant Turtles? I don't know. This like 2D cartoon that came out after like the 2012.
Sure, because those ones had powers, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's already a power creep in itself. Part one definitely displayed far more than what the average Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle usually goes through.
That is true. But Space Ghost, but you could still have all the members of Team 7 like the second Shippuden movie was able to do. Arguably, yeah, and you could have some circumstances that force Sasuke to interact with his old team, but I think you have a lot of that sort of like drama of like come back to the village Sasuke situation.
I mean, it's already a non-canon crossover to begin with. I guess you could make it be like some random parallel universe type shenanigans.
That or just
You really, really wanted to do that interaction, but I don't know. I think part one is just what everyone's pretty accustomed to. I think, frankly, you got the teacher student mentorship. Jesus, I cannot speak today.
arguably yes, because Team Seven are more like the students at that point, and Kakashi the mentor. Rather than more equal standing in like part two.
Right.
So that's probably why they did that. Anyway,
Well, I can understand why Sasuke didn't use Chidori because they made Kakashi use Lightning Blade, and seeing the same attack twice would be kind of pointless.
yeah, that is untrue, but no, I will admit maybe not the best combo move that they did as a result, but yeah.
A kick strike, even though they did that also for Naruto as well.
Yeah, let's see. I figured they were going to do the Rasengan, or maybe they're saving their Sengan for like
Oh, it's definitely being saved now.
it's being saved for the final probably. We've got another person joining saying hi, hello, Blaze Hopper. We're just giving our thoughts on the third issue of TMNT Ninja Turtles, but going to like Space's comment here. I will admit, I do like the sort of characterization they've got of like Shredder here, particularly the fact that he's not really using taking Stockman's ooze to create an army of mutants. No, rather, he's doing it for himself, really. He just wants only him to have, like, the power of the ooze. But he was willing to test it on, like, he's more of, like, willing to, like, use it to test it, having them first tested on his subordinates before doing it for himself. Arguably, he just wants the power for himself, so I do like that. Ooh, Blaze Harper's saying, I'm here to be the second guy. Okay, well, fair enough. Well, you're the second guy here, so feel free to comment as much as you like. Let's see. I'm here to make you less space, you say. Oh, that's a little corny joke. It's with Space saying, I never watched the TMT X Batman. Is Shredder here similar to the Shredder in that crossover? Ooh. To be fair, the Shredder in the comics and the Batman comic the TNT Batman comic crossover and the TNT movie, they're kind of different portrayals of Shredder because in the cartoon movie, from what I can tell, they seem to be more of this like reluctant allies, but in the sort of comic with like with Raja Ghul and Shredder, but in the gritty comic, the two seem to be more similar to eye, with Blaze going like Blaze saying Blaze less space slow and going like haha he gets it. But yeah, as far as I can tell, in the comic you've got more of like Shredder and Raja Ghul being a bit more friendly with each other, while in the movie you got them a bit more hostile. So we got like that. Let's see, so there's a bit of difference in the comic Batman and the movie Shredder. So, but yeah, but other than that, I don't really see. There's, I guess, maybe some similarities with like Shredder and the comic one here, but I do think he's just more of interest in power. But of course, Shredder's like just the villain himself. There's no like teaming up with like a Naruto villain, so there's a few bits of difference here. But yeah, but I also like how you see just how ruthless Shredder is by just like praising the Fox for like the Fox Mutant Plex for doing somewhat of a decent job, but thinks that he's an inferior mutant, and then decides that she's disposable along with like Splinter and April. But I do like how he's also able to deduce that April's trying to stall for time, but realize that nope, I already know where the Baxter and Stockman's last mutant is in the scroll. Not really trying to produce more of it, but yeah. We got Blaze Harper saying, does Shredder do a roast Naruto for being an orphan because Shredder is petty like that? So far, Shredder hasn't really done that. I don't. So far, Shredder's just more of interacted with Naruto more in a group yet. There hasn't really been a personal encounter to one. As far as I can tell, Shredder does not know that Naruto's or Itzy is an orphan or a Nine-Tails Jinchuriki yet. But yeah, even though he could be petty like that, and I could totally see him mocking. But yeah,
I don't know. Most variants of I don't know, Shredder. I don't know. Shredder normally doesn't really go for like emotional type level.
yeah, arguably true. Yeah, for the most part, true. I'd say the only time when he's really done that is, let's see, mocking Hamato Yoshi in like 2012 for failing to save his wife and saying, "Oh, I've made your daughter hate you and despise you," kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, he'll go for the more like physical trauma of sorts.
Yeah, he'd like to sort of break him down. But yeah, who knows? It could be possible that he might mock Naruto for being a fox freak, but that's basically it. Kind of like how I would mock Hamato Yoshi for becoming a rat or something.
Right.
That's probably the best you get. Let's see. But yeah, Shredder 2012 is petty, so yeah, it'd probably be that one. Let's see. 2003 Shadow Savage. Let's see. Oh, so remember Stockman. Oh, yeah. I think we can confirm that Stockman is probably dead, but it's interesting how the Stockman here isn't necessarily a bad guy, because normally Stockman is like a bad guy.
Yeah, he was only kind of just an idiot jerk. Well,
Yeah.
not idiot, but I mean,
It's
kind of, yeah, whatever.
He's kind of like a scientist who hung up in his own brilliance that he
Egotistical, yeah.
that he caused his own downfall, if you will. I mean, it would have been interesting perhaps if Stockman could interact with Orochimaru, but I guess that let's see, he's probably dead unless it's revealed that he's alive at the end, and there's going to be a sequel with Orochimaru and Stockman teaming up, which would be interesting, actually.
Sort of team up would have been interesting, considering Shredder had a somewhat sound 4 of his own.
That is kind of true. You did get like a sort of mutant 4 here, but I'll get to that in a minute. With Space saying, I can see Shredder making fun of Sasuke because he's the last of the great feared Uchiha clan. Yeah, I can see that happening.
Maybe.
Let's see. Stockman was destroyed to his brain. Yeah, they did sort of something rather different than that Stockman. Normally he turns into a mutant fly, but yeah. So that's okay. Oh, okay. Oh, fair enough. But yeah. But yeah. Anyway, what do you make of like the 4 mutant Ninja Foot Clan members?
I mean, cut short. So I mean, kind of interesting that usually the mutagen turns anyone into a animal of sorts. This one did not.
No, instead they went with like colored, witty, mutant bladed monsters in some regards.
Well, they all had different aspects. I think the one was fast, and the red one was fast. The blue one was sharp. The
red one I'd say was also strong as well. But yeah.
No, all right. Red one had strength, speed, whatever you want to call it. Purple one was moldable or whatever.
Yeah, it seemed to have a bit of a regenerative abilities of sorts. Or
and then what was it? The blue one? No, I already said the yellow one had had blades. I forgot that one.
The blue one had claws.
Blue one had claws. I mean, that's essentially the same thing. What the hell?
Yeah, and arguably these are perhaps not the most original and perhaps the more genetic mutant designs that you would normally see here.
Yeah.
Though interesting, the color plateau didn't really match up because you kind of had like, okay, except for Sakura and Raphael, you had them fight the red one, but you had Kakashi fighting the yellow one. See, Sasuke and Leonardo fighting the purple. Let's see, the
Donatello fighting the blue one.
Blue one, yeah. Which, okay, to be fair, Sasuke kind of works with the blue one, but Michelangelo and Naruto fighting the purple one, so a bit of a mix-up.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, by picking Donatello and Sasuke to team up, already kind of threw the whole balance into
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, they seem to. It has been interesting that they seem to swap it around a bit, but yeah.
Kakashi
Space.
and Donatello would have worked too. But I guess
Yeah.
Leonardo being a leader like Kakashi is why they did that.
Yeah, it seems like that's the reason why they did it. Otherwise, you probably would have had Kakashi and let's see, Leonardo fighting the purple one,
Mm-hmm.
Sasuke and Leonardo fighting the blue one, and then of course Naruto and Michelangelo fighting the yellow one. You probably that would normally would that was what you would probably expect, to be honest.
Probably.
Anyway, Space going like the four mutant ninjas is an interesting idea, but it feels like they wanted to do the sound four, however they couldn't. Arguably, yeah, it could be that they got that inspiration, but like, yeah, they couldn't really have the sound full interact in this part of the story.
I
So,
think they just didn't want to do Naruto villains.
yeah, but yeah. Now, interestingly, instead of doing like, let's see, any of the mutated villains, they just did some four random ones, really.
Well, I
So,
mean,
no, sorry, Ron,
I was gonna say it kind of makes sense because again, it's a crossover. They're not gonna really put too many more.
of their characters in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like last issue, at best, you got like those Gritzy members of like the Kohona 11 in the background and like a flashback. They're not going to have like all the main characters. If they're going to add more characters, that's more of like for a sequel,
I was gonna
really.
say Bebop and Rocksteady wouldn't have made too much sense.
Yeah.
Whoever was in the 2012, who I cannot remember, wouldn't have made too much sense. I mean, Stockman probably wouldn't have made a lot of sense at this point. Hun from 2003 wouldn't have made too much sense. It is what it is. They just wanted Shredder, so they did Shredder.
Yeah. Anyway, Blaze Hopper says Orochimaru made the turtles because he's a scientist nigga guy. No, he's like the scientist. He must be involved. No, Orochimaru did not make the turtles in this version. Orochimaru has been compared to how they would do these sort of experiments.
Well, I think you're just comparing him to Stockman, but yeah,
Okay. Oh, okay. Not to
I
show a
think.
crossover.
I hope that's what it means.
Oh, okay. Blaze Hopper says Naruto should have a crossover with Power Rangers Ninjas 2, like Ninja Storm. Arguably, that would probably be the best Power Rangers to have a crossover with. Now, granted, I feel like comics only done with the Mighty Morphing Power Rangers.
Yeah, what the Power Ranger had a crossover with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so
Yeah.
could have happened.
But yeah. Anyway, Space says I feel like the Nine Tails should be very important in the next chapter, and also make sure he's evil because we know how evil Kurama can truly be. Arguably, yeah, Kurama would be more hostile, so who knows? We'd probably get some form of like the Nine Tails being involved in this, but we'll have to. But whether or not it'll be the one-tailed cloak or just the standard orange chakra power boost remains to be seen. But at the moment, but yeah,
Kyuubi mode.
but yeah. So but yeah. Anyway, but yeah. Speaking of this bit of crossovers here, if I recall, there was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers crossover in Power Rangers in Space, where I think the TNT next mutation, you know, the one with that Venus turtle,
Mm-hmm.
actually had a crossover with the turtles. Arguably, as far as I'm aware of, that was the only time people actually liked that that version of the turtles in any form of media. But yeah,
Take a shot, guys, for every time Blue Star Saber says the word arguably.
ha ha, very funny.
I have to keep the Chi narrative going somehow when he's not here. I hope he
Yes.
listens. Listen to this, Chi, please.
I think it would be more like Lucky Rave now, Space. I mean, Mangareader.
I don't care. He can. He doesn't deserve. No, I've actually probably called him Rave every single time I've seen him, but
Yeah.
I just feel like saying it.
Fair enough.
Lucky then, fine.
Let's see.
Lucky, you better be listening to this
You
somewhere.
can. Well, you can call him Chi if you want.
Hear that?
He can just get angry in the comments later. But Space goes like, "Yep, TNT and Power Rangers have a crossover, which is canon to the Power Rangers show." Fair enough. So we got a canon there. So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, it's funny. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is popular here, but it was like the least popular Sentai in Japan, and yet they somehow use it a little more often. Although recently, I think I saw something for it.
I don't know. I did not. I think in Power Rangers Space it's supposed to be like a video game. It's Super Sentai, but the American lot misunderstood that, so they created a lot of original space stuff for it.
Oh, did they?
Which space going like you can argue this crossover as having the issues of one series being more important than the other. Arguably, that might be an issue as you got more of like the turtle stuff than the like Team Seven and Naruto stuff.
Guess it don't matter. Um, I don't know how often Naruto's gonna. Well, for one, this is an IDW comic. I don't think IDW has Power Ranger rights, so um, I don't even know if Power Rangers even has an ongoing comic book.
I know they had some comic books, but they might. At the moment, I don't know if it's a limited series or an ongoing one.
I don't know which company it is too either, because all I know for IDW is they have Transformers, they have Godzilla, they have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they have Sonic the Hedgehog.
Let's see. At the moment, I believe Hasbro has. At the moment, I believe Image has Transformers comics.
Oh, now they got that. All right. Well, IDW had it for a time being, so maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, Blaze Hopper says, Shredder child, you are mutant too, Naruto. No, I have a demon inside me. Basically, Shredder, even worse. Okay, so basically, he's imagining some interactions.
Yeah.
Anyway, X-Tran is here going like Hasbro and Boom, talking, I think, about the Power Rangers. With Blaze Hopper, now we have 3 guys.
Yeah.
And go like, now we have no space. Oh, I'm sure space will show up.
Devil
saying, we talked about it in the last stream for the series. If we were going to have these types of crossovers more often, then let's see, then Spider-Man X My Hero Academia would make a lot of sense. Arguably, yes. You probably heard that, like, that would be one of the crossovers. Arguably, probably Marvel with the wider My Hero Academia world as well. So that would probably be a lot of fun.
I know Koei would do it.
Let's see. Wow, Space. Yeah, Koei is a huge, Marvel fan. So, yeah, we could probably see. Maybe that could be a possibility. Naruto testing out with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then seeing how popular that is before doing more manga and Japanese comic crossovers. Let's see. So hopefully that will remain to be seen. But granted, I guess it depends on foreign policies between the two countries as well.
I'm sure Marvel would do it too.
Yeah. Let's see. Guys, Boom has a ton of Power Rangers comic books. Okay, that answers that question. With like Hirshoki only did arts of Spider-Man in his style. Look it up. Oh yeah, I think I recall that. But yeah. Anyway, back to our thoughts. What did you make of the fights that happened, Mangareader? Which one's your favorite? Out of curiosity.
I mean, again, there's only like what 2-3 panels tops for every combination.
Yeah, you got like 2 pages really for each one, but
I mean, I guess Kakashi's is probably the flashiest, obviously.
Okay, so Kakashi's your favorite.
I would say. I mean, I like Leonardo anyway. He's a. I mean, let's be fair here, guys. I think Leonardo is typically the favorite turtle amongst most people. Yeah, you got. I'm sure Michelangelo's like second most popular.
Yeah, Leonardo's arguably the main turtle. Sometimes you get maybe Raphael as like the second, but normally he is like often the one that is the one that defeats the Shredder in a one-on-one fight, if it comes down to it. So yeah. If I had to pick my favorite fight out of the Mongs, once again, I'd probably pick Sakura and Raphael teaming up. I really like how Sakura is able to rescue Raphael from like the strength and then throw him to then beat him up. I'm really liking like this comic version of Sakura. And arguably, I do think if Naruto was written by a US comic one, you probably would have a bit more of an action hearing with Sakura in this. But yeah. I'm really enjoying like these sort of like the Sakura moments, really, basically being a fan of Sakura.
Yeah, okay.
See, but yeah.
Okay, Gooner.
okay, sorry, but yeah. Other than that, I'd definitely say my second favorite would be the Kakashi and Leonardo one. Let's see.
Fine.
Let's see if them teaming up with like their Sharingan, with Kakashi combining their lightning with his lightning blade with Leonardo's sword to arguably kill the opponent. Arguably, this is probably the only one that's actually killed amongst the group. Or like X Train says, Space. He's collaborating with a former Spider-Man writer. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Hopefully, it's not Dan Slott. But anyway, and then it goes like Space. Like, I mean, it depends on the version, but yeah. And there's like Blaze Hopper saying, Shredder's only weakness is not having his head in the game. This joke is approved by Leonardo.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. But interesting, I will admit, I do find the combination of Leonardo and Sasuke to be weird, but it seems they're trying to combine these two as being like the smart ones in their group, or at least the analytical ones. With like Sasuke's Sharingan can predict, and Leonardo's
You're talking about Donatello.
I mean, yeah, Donatello. Sorry, my bad. I got them mixed up. Donatello's like analytic brain, if you will. Let's see. So yeah, arguably this part is like but I will admit, I do think they have like perhaps the weakest of the finishing moves, but never. Well, granted, that might be more actually Naruto's now I think about it, but yeah. But yeah, I will admit, I was expecting a Sharingan. I'm expecting a Sengun here, but nevertheless, I do like the sort of they do the combination of the Uzu and Mikey Angelo barrage, doing a sort of combination of barrage between the two. So yeah,
Not even sure how it even looked like Barrage because Naruto didn't do his uppercut kick. So
yeah, you didn't really get to see the clone thing. At best, you could maybe see like the
well, it's
kick
supposed to
part
be
of
the
that.
Lion Barrage, but yeah, it's just to mimic Sasuke's Lion Barrage, which he didn't even do that. I mean, would have been interesting for Sasuke to use, his fire style, but whatever.
Yeah, arguably you could have probably had maybe Sasuke. Let's see with his fire, something with his fire style with Mike with Donatello and helping to finish off or something.
Hmm.
But yeah, or at least maybe go with Leonardo and doing like a flame sword or something instead.
I don't
But
know why they call it staff if Donatello didn't even use his staff in that kick.
yeah, I mean that's arguably the one issue I have with that fight. But yeah, but
I mean, arguably.
other than that, I mean I enjoyed the fight for the most
Yeah.
part, and yeah, but arguably I'd say Naruto's probably definitely the worst finisher. Even though I do like the combination with that barrage. I don't know. Maybe they could have done a few more pages of Naruto and Michelangelo working with Shao clones to take this guy out. But yeah, anyway, Blaze
Ah,
Hawk.
the joys of crossovers, where neither franchises are allowed to overpower or overshadow each other.
Yeah,
You have to make them both equal somehow.
yeah, because would you get then angry fans? But Blaze Hop,
Not the fan,
I
it's the
think Raph and
franchise. Yeah.
let's see, but yeah, Blaze Hop. I think Raph and Sasuke would work together because Raph has the potential of being evil, just like Sasuke. As we have stories where Raph becomes Shredder. Okay, that's interesting.
Well, it's not really evil. He just becomes Shredder because whatever. It's not a big deal.
Let's see. Space Ghost like imagine if they did 1,000 years of death to Super Shredder next chapter. Well, that would be funny. I don't think they would have that beat. With Blaze says interesting, but would that even be done on purpose? Fair enough. But yeah. Anyway, the real let's see. They're fighting Super Shredder at the end. What do you make of the design?
What, the Super Shredder design?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much the classic Super Shredder. I mean, obviously they gave it a more greenish glow to to give it a little more menacement to the art
Yeah.
style, but
Yeah. And maybe a bit of like to say, oh, this is like green chakra or something. But yeah.
maybe give it a little. Maybe they gave him wings too. Yeah, they kind of gave him wings too. But otherwise, I mean, it's pretty much just what Shredder usually always turns into. Minus there is that weird eye thing. So, um,
Yeah, I'm curious if that's going to play a part in this, but we'll have to wait and see in that regards.
right. Otherwise, yeah, it's pretty classic Super Shredder design. Pointy objects literally everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. If look,
Maybe the tail's also new. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, Space says from how you say it, sounds like the 2012 version with the color, but the classic version at the basic.
Pretty much like it, I would argue. Yes.
With X Train saying Shueisha doesn't allow their IP to cross over with Western comics. For the most part, until now, it seems. So I don't know how they managed to get this deal, how they managed to do this deal, but they're finally gonna. Let's see, Naruto and Teenage Mutant Ninja crossover, which only fans could dream about, and now they actually have it in comic form.
I don't know if any fan really would have thought of this.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe they'll get a manga version down the line and see how that plays out better. But yeah,
Is Naruto? Is Naruto? Is it Shueisha? I thought that was only Dragon Ball. Or yeah, whatever you want.
Shueisha is, I think, just generally Shonen Jump, so Naruto, Dragon Ball, each One Piece. So yeah.
Okay.
With Space, let's see. With Space going, I mean, there's stuff like All Might appearing in that Deadpool manga. So yeah. So arguably over the lines, you are starting to get a bit more crossovers between manga and comics. But granted, like sorry, what?
I'm just saying, was the Deadpool manga even written in the USA, or was it written in damn Japan?
I'm not. I think it's written and drawn by a Japanese manga artist, but I think published by Marvel.
Oh, well, I mean, Marvel would do that just because they would allow someone else to do that with their shit.
Let's see. But yeah, Shredder, now let's dance, shall we, Splinter? But you're a horrible dancer. Okay, so he's doing sort of like comments, let's see, quotes here, but yeah, arguably. But yeah, let's see, Shredder becoming a Jinchuriki, possibly, but
no, just no.
That's
not what the ooze is.
No, that's not really. But yeah, but arguably, oops, another comment says, besides Spider-Man, I think another comic that makes sense to do is crossovers My Hero Academia and X-Men. Yeah, arguably you could see that. Arguably, if this comic does well, which I heard it sells quite well, it's likely that you could get Jump and being a bit more open to have crossovers with like Marvel comics and all that stuff. I do know Attack on Titan had this brief mini crossover thing, but I don't know, it wasn't really much of a thing. It was just like Avengers fighting random Titans. Let's see, which I saw some Attack on Titan fans not happy about that. I'm going like, seriously, should learn how to dance, Shredder. It's a figure of speech, Splinter. Okay. I think he's just doing banter between Shredder and Splinter, Blaze Hopper. But yeah. Anyway, overall, Mangareader, how would you score this one?
I mean, they're just fun little short things that probably don't make a lot of sense. So crossovers are there specifically always for like a form of fan service. I'm pretty sure it's all gonna get. I would hope the final issue is where it all like comes together for like that big old fan servicey fun moment. So yeah, with this one, I mean, it's better than the last one since they actually were utilizing the characters a little more. But I mean, again, they didn't really utilize it in the sense that a lot of the fights were just really short. So
okay,
I'll put it at a 7.8.
Okay, I think I'll give it an 8 out of 10, but I can see why you give that score. I don't think it's as good as the first issue, but I think it's better than the second issue at the very least.
Well, I mean, first issues kind of have to do pretty good. First issues have to sell you the product, so I would hope that they're good. Otherwise, you're not going to continue reading.
Yeah. Anyway, Blaze Hopper says, Splinter, huh? It's a horrible to leave the one-liners here. Okay, more of the quotes.
Yeah, it's just going to be
Space think. Do you think you think then fusing the two universes together was better than just them having the TMNT appear in the Naruto universe? I think arguably for a one-shot story, that was probably the best thing to do. I mean, granted, it could be of interesting another way, but I don't know. I feel like if you did have the turtles just popping up in the Naruto universe, that would require a bit of a more longer story arc, which arguably, if this was done in a manga volume or something like that, you'd probably have a bit more let's see, content for like the turtles interacting with Naruto, maybe longer chats and maybe longer action sequences. Granted, if let's see Naruto and the TNT get adapted into some sort of like anime or even to US cartoon movie of some sort, who knows? You might get longer action sequences, but yeah. But arguably, it's a nice little Turtles see interacting with Team 7 a bit, Shredder's plans with the ooze, and then you've got those, let's see, Team 7 and, let's see, Turtles, let's see, team up fights against the random mutants. Arguably, not all the mutants are not that interesting, and some of the team ups are a bit strange compared to like what we saw at the beginning of the first issue. But nevertheless, there's some hype for like Super Shredder. With X-Train said, "Don't just let the Western creatives touch any manga." Who knows? Let's see. Who
I
knows?
sure wouldn't want that.
What?
I said I sure wouldn't want that. I mean, they butcher all the designs half the time. I mean, look at this.
Maybe.
Look at this. Half the time, I mean, some of those alternate covers look like absolute junk. Thank God they didn't use those alt covers. I mean, that's why they're an alt cover. But a lot of those alt covers do not look good compared to, Kishimoto's style.
Arguably, yeah, arguably some of these, let's see, yeah, the out covers I'm seeing for issue 3 aren't exactly the best. Let's
Take
see.
those arguably shots, guys.
Let's see, but no, nevertheless, I'd say but to me they're not as a fan, but it's fine, I guess, because they're not like the main covers or like the main use of art style. It just seems to be like more of those different designs. Heck, you kind of like you get those sort of like different sort of like editors and assistants drawing. Let's see, official artwork for like Naruto, if you will. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Blaze up. I mean, the mainline turtles aren't as strong as Naruto. That's why they make their own. Space going like Young Avengers and Young Justice. Space K-Tran. I get that, but I feel like Spider-Man X-Men makes more sense for a crossover in My Hero. With X-Men saying, why have Paul, Mr. I Stole Your Girl out of nowhere? Oh, we're bringing into Spider-Man at this moment. With let's see. Spider-Man X My Hero Academia crossover can be similar to the Batman X Teenage Mutant crossover, with two similar villains working together. Arguably, yes, you could have like the Brotherhood of Mutants and maybe the Meta Liberation Army or the Paranormal Liberation Army, whatever you want to do. But yeah,
I
that
don't
could
get
work.
why we keep talking about this more boring crossover. I mean, yeah, again, we get it. Spider-Man influenced My Hero Academia in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Sero exists.
Let's see, Paul and the Mango win.
Oh
Anyway, but yeah,
no, God, I hate that.
but
Thank
yeah.
you, modern day Spider-Man.
Yes, that's awful. Oh, by the way, MJ is now Venom. If you're not heard.
Yeah, I know, I've seen it. I mean, everyone thought it was Paul just because of the one-liners and everything, but no, it was MJ.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Let's see. I mean, Spider-Man X Mario sounds like an interesting crossover. Yes. Anyway, going back to like the little Western ritzy comics, I don't know. I think depending on which artist you have for the manga characters, it could work really well. But for the wrong ones, who knows? I mean, I wouldn't say that every manga artist is as good as like comic ritzy artists. I mean, look at the current Boruto artist. But yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, you're bringing up one loser compared to majority of all the other Shonen Jump
But yeah, but
series.
who knows? But it would be an interesting idea to see different versions of like manga and US comic characters crossing over, or different writers taking in their takes and versions on said characters. Who knows? But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if we're gonna get more crossovers first before you get that kind of stuff. Space. We will have Paul. Some comic artists cannot do manga characters justice. Fair enough. Yeah, arguably so, but I will admit, for at least, I'd say for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Naruto crossover, I do like the artists for like this one. I think they did quite a good job of drawing at least Team 7. So, but yeah, I think it's done a good job there.
Mm, yeah.
Let's see. So, yeah. Anyway, let's see. This Paul joke hurts more than it hurts you. I hate Paul too. Okay, enough of
I get it.
Paul. Let's
I
see, but
get
yeah.
it.
Anyway, Marguerite, I think we've just about covered everything that needs to be said, unless you have anything more left to say.
uh, I mean, no. I mean, unless we were somehow continuing the whole idea of crossovers, but
No,
um,
I think we can save that maybe for next for the
for the next
next game.
time. I'm not saying that for that reason. So no, I mean, sure, 3 issues in, and we've more or less already have established that yes. Oh yeah, I remember what I was gonna say. The whole dimensional hopping thing. That is more of a Teenage Mutant Turtle thing than obviously Naruto. But so it could have worked theoretically, but I guess it just makes better sense for this crossover to just have them be coexisting in this universe, despite the fact that if this were taking place in the canon Naruto universe, it would be a little more harder to imagine a whole city being considered a village.
Yeah, let's see. And argue, I'd say the on the interdimensional stuff could only really work if you did part two Naruto. But yeah, we can.
It could have still worked with part one, but
Yeah.
again, the dimension hopping isn't out of again the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Funny enough, uh, storylines, but
Mm-hmm. And we've got Space says we can continue to talk about how we would do our own crossover with Naruto and TMT.
I mean maybe in the next one, if at the end of 4, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we would save that for issue 4. Though, who knows? Let's see. At the very least, I probably would have done at least maybe if it was comic version, I'd probably do a 6 to 7 issue story arc, and manga, I'd probably do at least 2 volumes, depending on which kind of crossover you did it, at least in terms of formatting. With the space going dimension hopping isn't hard for Naruto. I mean, look at the end of Shippuden. That is true. So who knows? But yeah. Anyway, I think I'm just about ready to wrap up. Thank you, Margareader, for joining me, and I'd like to thank Space, Blaze Hopper, and 4K Tran. Is it? Oh, let me just XK Tran. Thank you for your comments and let's see info and Blaze Hopper saying Space say that again, but yeah. So thank you for your input, and I hope for those who end up listening to this review enjoy. Let's see, enjoy what we had to say, and I look forward to you all next time in the next let's see issue, the 4th and final one, unless there comes a sequel. So yeah, I am Blue Star Saber.
I'm Mangareader.
And we are signing off. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye for now.
Woo.